Ben's class, again, just a terrific group of guys. I kind of analyze so many different things in my time at ALA by, this group of young men that seem to come together, and somehow God put them all here at the same time to be able to build these relationships and do what they were able to do. And Ben's class was unique. They came in at a time when we had suffered a little lull, so Nick and Drew and his brother Drew had come along, and we had some really good athletes for 3 or 4 or 5 years, successful in football and basketball, some other sports. And then we hit a little downturn, and Ben's class came in. And so sometimes that allows you to do things that other people can't do either. So like he got to play varsity football as a freshman, and but his group of guys, they were just a unique group that I think you guys had so much fun. Like life was all about fun. I remember taking them to football camp up in the White Mountains, and they just were doing something stupid all the time, even as freshmen, and I loved it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I love. It was great, and so it was great to see him be part of that class. And they like a lot of other groups, great camaraderie, and their athleticism, their success in life post high school, not a surprise, because that's what usually happens with people like that. And again, it was kind of a transitional year. Again, you're going to see some of his accolades up here. The reality is that he got a lot of individual things, especially in football and in baseball, because he was a true 3-sport athlete. In football, in his junior year, again, he rushed for over 2,000 yards as a junior. That's amazing. He was voted Region Player of the Year. By the way, we had another player rush for over 1,500 yards that year on the same team. So he was sharing carries at 2,093 yards, which is absolutely crazy. That team, actually, they rushed for over 4,000 yards as a group. We were third in the state in running offense that year with all schools. It didn't matter what size. And Ben was a part of that. And I remember when he was a freshman, we were struggling with some things, and he and another kid named Jeff English, we got to about the middle of the season, and we were out of fullbacks. And Jeff was a center on JV. And we said, I need you to play fullback. And I remember I made a card that basically they put on their wrist, and it told them what to do on every single play, because this was like Wednesday, and they were going to play fullback on Friday. So if it said 24 toss, it would say block the defensive end or whatever. So if I call the play in the huddle, they could look on their wrist and go, this is what I'm supposed to do on this play. And you're asking a freshman to be able to do that. So that's one of the things I remember. You can see his final total, 5,000 yards rushing during his career. It's just really a phenomenal total. And 70 touchdowns. Both of those, sad to say, that's number 2 in school history. Sorry, Ben. It's not quite there. His teammate has just a little bit more. His teammate has 73 touchdowns and just slightly more yards rushing. So, but again, I remember watching Ben. He kind of actually reminded me a lot of Andy. Just the ability to elude tackles, to run people over when necessary, to find the holes. Great running backs have great vision. They just know where they're supposed to be. And Ben was an example of someone who was able to do that. And the story Ed told, I remember that well. His senior year, Ben actually did not have as great a year, because he missed a couple of games where he just didn't even play because he had a really bad ankle. And then sometimes he played and he probably shouldn't have, but he did anyway. And so we're playing Tempe Prep, and they never let us run our offense very well. They're a great defensive team. So it comes down to we're down 1 or 2 points. We're on about the 20-yard line. It's 4th down, and we're going to go for it. And we walk out there, and Ben hadn't practiced the whole week. He was our kicker, but he hadn't kicked the whole week, not one single time. We walk out there, it's a timeout, and I go, Ben, you think you can make it? And he says, yeah, all right. So we go out there, he kicks a field goal, and we win the game. Zero practice during the week, zero timing with the snapper, none of that kind of stuff. And I think that that just was a good reminder to me, sort of what he was able to do. Played basketball. His team in his group of guys, and he was more of a role player in basketball, but we reached the state quarterfinals when he was a sophomore, and we were able to play for the state championship when he was a junior. And then his senior year, again, or his baseball career, played varsity baseball. They had a lot of really good baseball players on their team. And he hit .423 for his career. And when he was a senior in 2012, we went to the state tournament. We were a top 6 seed at state. He batted .478, and he was an all-region player and was an all-star. And Ben, I got to tell you this story because your teammate TJ shared this with because he was a part of this. So his senior year, this was them having fun. So Ben and TJ were both injured. TJ had a broken arm, a broken hand, and Ben had a bad ankle. So this is the way they treated their teammates. So their friend Jeff, one of their best friends. So as we're all warming up, all the special teams players are out on the field, and they take Ben's football jersey and they give it to this other kid, and they tell him, put it on, and then Jeff won't know where his jersey is when he comes back to get dressed. So they give it to Eric Treviso, and Viso gets all dressed, and he's just sitting there. And so Jeff comes back in, and he's freaking out because he can't find his jersey anywhere. And Viso's just sitting there wearing it. So eventually they let Jeff off the hook, and they give him his jersey. And as TJ said, you would think we would be done. Yeah. So then they also grab. Then when they get out to the field, they grab Jeff's mouth guard off of his helmet. And now, if you play football, you can't play without a mouth guard in. And Jeff's captain. So Jeff's out there, and they don't give it to him right away. He's looking around. They're like, "Oh, we don't know where it is." And he goes out for the coin toss, and he's, we're ready to play. They still don't haven't given him his mouth guard yet, and he's freaking out. So finally, at the very last minute, they give it to him. And so Ben, I think that just tells you what kind of player Ben was. That not only was a great player, but I know it seems bad, but this is what guys do to each other in high school. This is kind of how you relate to each other. And I just appreciate that was the kind of fun those guys were able to have when they played together. And again, it was just really a terrific career that he had here. And it was just a group of guys that was really, really fun to coach. And like I said, I feel very fortunate. There have been so many, especially football players, who I've just been blessed to coach and to be able to work with. And watching Ben play safety and handing him the ball off as a running back was truly a joy for all of us. So congratulations, Ben.
Thank you.
Here. Oh, just put it right here.
Amen. Thank you, Doug. I just want to start by thanking the entire ALA community, my family, teammates, coaches, teachers, friends. I had an amazing 4 years here. Truly an awesome experience, and still hold most of those relationships and memories today. Looking back at my time here at ALA, I was blessed to be able to play basketball, baseball, and football, but football was always something super special to me. From the moment, like Doug said, going up to football camp for the first time and experiencing Thunderdome and wrestling with seniors and then running full speed at another human being was something that I never experienced before. And fell in love with it, and it's just an awesome game. Basketball is another story. I just want to apologize to Coach Meyer. All the Michael Jordan-like layups that I tried that never had a chance, and chucked up a lot of threes that never had a chance. Funny story about that. I think we were getting close to playoffs, but it was an important game. And I'm playing, TJ and Jeff are on the bench. And I probably threw up a three or something like that, but I look over and TJ and Jeff are just cracking up. And I'm like, what happened? So by the time I got to the bench, which probably wasn't too much longer after that, I asked TJ and Jeff, like, what are you guys laughing about? And they're like, well, Coach Meyer, I think he slammed a clipboard or something like that. And he's like, I wonder why he doesn't play. Or I wonder why he rides the bench. I just want to tell you, you're wrong about that. I didn't wonder. I knew I was pretty bad at basketball. But I had a blast playing basketball. So much fun. I want to give special thanks to all the coaches who poured into me, not just as an athlete, but as a person. Coach Scott Indahl, Coach Doug Meyer, Coach Matt Sontag, Coach Scott Hill, thank you for believing in me and modeling what strong, Christ-centered leadership looks like. I also want to thank Ed Merkel for always taking care of us and probably wrapping my ankle way too many times more than you would have liked.
I loved it.
Finally, I want to thank my parents for working hard to send me to ALA all 4 years, driving me to and from countless games, practices, and events while I played 3 sports in high school. I know that was a lot, so thank you. Though I am proud of some of my sports accomplishments here, what stands out most are the relationships built, the leadership developed, and the values that were instilled. ALA didn't just teach me how to compete, it taught me how to lead with integrity, how to work with discipline, and how to live with purpose. Most importantly, ALA is where I grew in my faith. Everything we did from game day to practice was grounded in something bigger than ourselves. That foundation of faith in Jesus Christ is what truly made my athletic experience here special. Thank you again.